pode quiser, já ajusta o dorme aqui. Você deixar. Experimentado que vocês escolhem. Ah, vou precisar de ter. Vou na canal.
Good morning.
Good morning, MMA fans.
It's the MMA fighting team. We got Jose, we've got Esther, and the truck. We're just going to refer to him as the truck.
The truck.
And we've got Guilherme over there in Yas Island, Abu Dhabi. And it sounds like we're ready to go.
All right, everybody, thank you for coming out to the UFC Fight Night. Figueiredo versus Benavidez, 2 official weigh-ins. Our first fighter to the scale in the flyweight division, Alexander Pantoja.
Great. We got Alexander Pantoja coming in first.
125 for Alexander Pantoja.
125 on the dot.
Well, he's the backup if one of the flyweight fighters in the main event miss weight or can't make it. So if he wants to fight for the belt, he needs to make 125.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, I'm glad he was the first one, too.
Right. I know everyone's wondering about Figueiredo, who missed weight last time, but Guilherme said he's on
To the
weight.
scale and his opponent,
Who knows?
number 7, Askar Askarov.
Oh, wow.
Another flyweight.
With everybody right now. Cool.
$126. 126 for Askar Askarov.
Askarov, of course, coming off a win over, what's say, Friday?
Next
2
up,
days
in the
ago,
women's
win at Tim
flyweight
Elliott.
division, Luana, Carolina. $126 for Luana, Carolina. Our next fighter to the scale in 150-pound catchweight fight, Grant Dawson.
I'm sorry, Jose, what was Luana again? I missed it.
126? Let me confirm.
150 for Grant Dawson.
Do you say 150?
I can't. So it's hard to hear. Luana Carolina was 126. Dawson.
No.
Our next fighter to the scale in the 155-pound lightweight division, Rafael Fitzy. Oh, I'm sorry. Lightweight, yep.
Thanks, Suzanne. Yeah, I got a catch weight. All right, thank you. See, I didn't even know that.
$156 for Rafael Fitzy. Our next fighter to the scale and one half of your co-main event of the evening, Kelvin Gastelum.
Ooh.
Oh, Coleman.
Yuma, Arizona's own Kelvin Gastelum.
This is a little sideways dance there.
$186 for Kelvin Gastelum.
Right, 186.
One half of our co-main event is a go.
Our next fighter to the scale in a 135-pound bantamweight fight, number Brett Johns.
Red socks and red hat. Matching. See in the comments, everyone seems to think that Kelvin Gastelum looks like he's 205.
$136 for Brett Johns.
All right, 136 for Brett Johns. I think I can hear Casey talking somewhere, but he's not coming through.
Next up to the scale in the flyweight division, Malcolm Gordon.
It just changed right before the draft. We're on number 6.
Yep. $135 for Malcolm Gordon. This again is a bantamweight fight.
All right, Malcolm Gordon comes in at 135. Let me update that on the graphics here. And just one more time, good morning. This is Esther Lynn and Jose Youngs. We are live. Guilherme Cruz is over there on Yas Island in Abu Dhabi for the Figueiredo Benavidez 2 official weigh-ins. You see there on the screen where
Our next fighter to the scale and his opponent in the bantamweight division, Amir Albazi. 136 for Amir Albazi.
Thank you so much.
Our next fighter to the scale in the bantamweight division, Montel Jackson. $136 for Malcolm Jackson.
Hi, baby. How are you?
Can anyone help me with? Since we hold on a second. I just have to fix this.
Our next fighter to the scale in the lightweight division, Mark DeCassie.
Whoops.
Which fighter are you missing? Did we miss because of the feed cutout?
Yeah, Amir Albazi.
136. According to MMA Fighters Twitter.
All right.
$156 for Mark DeCassie.
Good camera. Hi.
Cool. 156 for Mark Kenzie.
Thank you.
Next up to the scale in the women's flyweight division, Ariane Lipski.
Oh, Jose, what are you doing this morning as we watch Ariane Lipski weigh in?
I woke up fairly early thinking that weigh-ins were at 5 for whatever reason. So I woke up at 4:45 and I've been up just waiting for weigh-ins.
126 for Ariane Lipski.
126.
The violence queen, Ariane Lipski.
That's gotta be one of the best nicknames, right?
100%. Get straight to the point. People wonder what she does for a living. She's like, oh, my nickname is the violence queen. But I was saying,
Our next
this
fighter to
card.
the scale and
All
one
right,
half of
never
our
mind.
main event of the evening, fighting for
There
the
you go.
flyweight title, Joseph Benavidez.
Oh, hell yeah. All right.
UFC's own cinephile, Joseph Benavidez.
Artist.
125 for Joseph Benavidez.
And hits the mark.
Was there any question Joe B wasn't making that?
No. Consummate professional.
Next up is a catch weight fight in the 150-pound division. Please welcome Nad Narimani. $150 for Nad Narimani.
5 seconds.
All
5.
right. 50. So Nad makes his catch weight as well.
Holds a win over fan favorite Patty Pimblett over on the Cage Warriors scene, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh. And Narimani's fighting Grant Dawson.
And I was saying, if you're a fan of just
Our
uber
next fighter
talented
to the scale
prospects and
in
up and
the
coming. This
light
fight's hard for you.
heavyweight division. Karis Ibragimov.
Russian light heavyweight.
.206 for Karis Ibragimov.
5 seconds. There you go. 5, 4, 3, 1.
Did that for y'all.
Next up in 155-pound lightweight fight about Arman Sakurian.
I thought it was Sarukian.
It probably is.
Only because, you know, our wonderful Alex Kalen is very good at these things, and he reminded me to fix my spelling because I had spell it the other way.
.156 for Arman Sarukian.
5 seconds. 5.
There we
I'm
go.
very excited for this fight. His only loss in the UFC has been to Islam Makhachev in a fight that he was actually very competitive in.
Yes.
Until he lost a decision, and that's why. And then we saw him fight Olivier Aubin Mercier. I think that was UFC 240, the one you and I were at, and no one really knew who. I'm not even going to try Sarukian's last name. That's how you pronounce it, Sarukian, right?
Yeah, Sarukian.
No
Our next
one
fighter
really
to the
knew anything about
scale and
Sarukian, but
another
I
half of your co-main
thought he
event
was
of
under
the
the radar.
185-pound middleweight division. Number 6, Jack Hermanson.
the Joker.
All right, the other half of the co-main coming in here.
Was originally supposed to fight Chris Weidman in Oklahoma City. A little bit of a different setting.
Just a little. All right. Oklahoma City, Abu Dhabi.
Same temperature.
186 for Jack Hermanson.
186 for the Joker.
Thank you.
Oh, we got a pretty good pace going on this
I
morning.
love it. Jack Hermanson was one of my favorite guests that was on the the MMA hour back in the day when Luke Thomas was like, what do you think about the actual character of the Joker? And Jack Hermanson was like, he's all right, I guess.
Our next fighter to the scale and fighting for the flyweight title, the number 1 contender in the world in the flyweight division, Deiveson Figueiredo.
There we go.
Wow.
The man of the hour, the one everyone wants to know.
Already
haven't
here, which is a good sign.
If you haven't seen it, his video, our embedded style video that Guillermo Cruz shot, said he was 130 when he landed. So if that's true, it should be an easy cut for him.
$125 for Deiveson Figueiredo.
4,
All right, 125. Made it.
We have ourselves a title fight.
Hooray.
Now we just have to make sure there's no headbutts in the main event.
That might be a little difficult.
Yeah. Even if they are accidental, of course, but
Yeah. Really would like to start having a bite of my own meal. I will wait. There's actually a lot of comments about how Arman Sarukian is way too far down the card, and yes, I
yeah,
would
he
say so.
definitely is.
Yeah, especially because he's fighting
Next
Dhabi
up to the
Ramos,
scale in the 205-pound
who was
light
on the
heavyweight
main card
division,
last night.
Roman Dolice.
Dhabi. Just to update you, yes, everyone has made weight so far.
Five,
206 for Roman Dolice.
5, 4. Now you want to play. 5, 4. Thank you, darling.
Okay, we got 206 for Roman Dolice.
Someone's going to sleep in that fight. I think, how do you pronounce his first name? Hattis?
Yeah.
I think he's on a 2-3 fight losing streak, so if he loses, you got to think that's it. And then his opponent, Roman, 7-0, 6-0. I think someone's going to bet in that fight.
You heard it first. This is going to be a long, boring decision.
Yeah, that's how it always
Next up in the
is.
lightweight division, Irish Joe Duffy.
My God, this fight card, these weigh-ins are flying.
And a pretty good card.
This is when I was on Between the Links outside of 251. This is, I think, the card that has the highest chance of excitement, top to bottom.
Hmm.
$155.5 for Irish Joe Duffy.
Right. 155 and a half. And I haven't given it a half count.
Yeah, right.
All right. Irish Joe Duffy. At what point does he become Canadian Joe Duffy?
That's what I was about to ask. I'm pretty sure he claims Canada now.
Our next fighter to the scale in the heavyweight division, Sergey Spivak.
In the comments, Watch My 666 says it's Hadis.
Thank you.
Oh, so he's too tall for the camera.
240 pounds for Sergey Spivak.
5. No, wait. Again. 5,
240.
5. Thank you.
Polar bear.
One of the few fighters on this card
right,
outside
everyone,
of
take a
top
short
fighters
break.
you have excellent photos. He tapped out Tai Tuivasa down at UFC 243 in Melbourne. So we're only waiting on Joe Alvarez, Davi Ramos, and Carlos Felipe.
Yeah, that's great. Only 3 more fighters. And we are only 22 minutes into the weigh-in, so we've got, you know, an hour and well over an hour and a half. So on this card, Jose, besides the main and co-main, what's the next fight you're looking forward to? Because they're all pretty good. So what's
Probably the Montel Jackson fight I'm very interested in. He's a guy that a lot of people have been talking about. I'm always interested in watch Askar Askarov fight, especially against Alexandre Pantoja. Pantoja's fight against Figueiredo when we were up in Edmonton, UFC 240. That was a fight that left the canvas bloody. Everyone in the media room was just like, "Oh, whoa!" the whole time. It was one of those rare flyweight fights that really stole the show, and that was a fight that was also really buried lower on the card, if I remember correctly. And then Askar Askarov, Pete Carroll's talked about forever, to the point where when Joe B did a guest scrum backstage, I think it was in January for the Conor Cowboy fight, he was a guest fighter. he asked Joe B about the possibility of fighting Askar Askarov. And Joe B was like, I am super excited to fight that guy, real talented. Askarov, of course, beat Tim Elliott that night in a fight that Tim Elliott doesn't remember. Yep. So I would have to circle Pantoja Askarov in terms of it's important. It's a high-level fight. They're two of the best. So I think it checks all my boxes.
Yeah, no, that definitely checks all the boxes there. That's great because it's, it's not often, for whatever reason, that they feature another flyweight bout on the main card and there's a flyweight main event. Sometimes they put them on the undercard. Yeah. So I'm really glad that they're high up on the card.
£156 for Joel Alvarez.
All right, we got 156 pounds for Joel Alvarez. Wow. We might be done soon. This is exciting. Maybe I should not get too excited though, because I feel like, how you curse heavyweight fights exciting fights by saying they're going to be really exciting.
Right.
This might be a curse as well if I am too excited about people weighing in on time.
I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what happened last time. For what was the last weigh-ins, it flew by, and then we had that one fighter that waited all the way until like the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We should have clips coming out of the weigh-ins if you can't catch this live.
But if they hear you saying this, then they are catching it live, correct?
Yeah, well.
So the truck is telling me that I have cursed this weigh-in.
100%.
And I'm so sorry, because now there's no one in the frame. Oh, man. What did I do?
Do you have FOMO watching these weigh-ins and fights?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, I love shooting fights. I like photographing, and it does seem very weird to be at home because it's just a little bit more difficult to be engaged when it's not right in front of me, I guess.
Right.
But I am enjoying my time at home. I put in a really nice patio for myself and I'm enjoying the outdoors. No, I do. Yeah, I do feel, especially because, like, I don't know, I have like this urge to like fix everything.
Sure.
Yeah. So like I'm there and I'm like, oh, this is out of place, or that's not working, or I want to help everybody with their audio or whatever. So when I see that the internet isn't great, I want to be like run over to the IT guy and be like, do you need some help? So yeah, because I do remember when we were there, the internet was actually pretty terrible. So it kept going in and out, like all on fight night. They provided hard lines for us, but sometimes they didn't work, or they did, or there weren't enough, and people were kind of fighting over them a little bit.
Sure.
So that's always good,
Seems to be the theme. The slow internet's been the theme of this pandemic at UFC fights.
So just to recap here, this is Esther Lynn for MMA Fighting, and I'm on here with Jose Benavidez, and we've got Guilherme Cruz over there in Abu Dhabi bringing us this video. And the main event is official, with Deiveson Figueiredo and Joseph Benavidez making the 125-pound limit. Jack Hermanson and Kelvin Gastelum both made 186 for your co-main. Mark Diakese and Rafael Fizzy? Is that what he said? He kind of just didn't pronounce the last two.
I'm not going to trust anything that's being audibly said at weigh-ins.
Okay. Well, Mark Diakese, Rafael Fizzy, 156 pounds. Queen of Violence, Ariane Lipski, 126 against Luana Carolina, also 126. Alessandro Pantoja came in at 125 because he was the backup just in case anybody in the main event didn't make weight. So he came in exactly on the flyweight limit dot. And Askar Askarov, 126. Hadis Ibragimov, 206. Roman Dolidze, 206. Grant Dawson and Nad Narimani, if you're looking at this, this is a catch weight at 150 pounds. So they did not miss weight. It's a catch weight. Both fighters are meeting at 150 pounds. Joel Alvarez came in at 155, while his opponent, Joe Duffy, came in at 155.5. Brett Johns and Montel Jackson both came in at 136 for their bantamweight bout. Malcolm Gordon, 135. Amir Albazi, 136. We are waiting on Dhabi Hamos, but he is fighting Arman Sarukian, who is going to be really good. I think this is going to be a really great fight. It's very early on the card. And then, you know, starting out the card is the polar bear, Sergey Spivak, against Carlos Felipe.
I was saying at the beginning, just looking at this card in terms of people's records and where they are in the UFC, outside of the main and co-main, there's not a ton. Well, we talked about Pantoja. Askarov could be next in line for a flyweight shot. I don't think anyone's going to really be fighting for a title anytime soon. But Joe B, with only 6 losses, has the most losses on this entire card. Of course, Hermanson and Gastelum have 5 each, and Lipsky has 5. But outside of that, we have a lot of 2 losses, 1 loss, 3 losses, 0 losses. So if you're a fan of the future of the UFC, this is the card for you. There's a lot of international fighters, a lot of, obviously, of course, because they're on Fight Island, and a lot of fighters that are still looking to make a name for themselves in crowded divisions.
Yeah. Jackson Base is asking what happened to Coffee Talk. Well, you know what? I've got to bring that back. Sorry. It's whenever we get like 4 fights in 2 weeks, it gets a little bit hectic.
Well, even when I was on Fight Island, we just did one big wrap up at the end of it.
Yes.
I'm not Fight Island, Jacksonville.
Fight Peninsula. Fight Peninsula.
It's all a blur at this point.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a little. Sometimes, you know, having a lot of cards makes it a little difficult because the next morning after the fights, we had to go straight into media day. So that's kind of actually is what happens there. However, we will bring it back soon. Wonder what people in the chat who they have for the main and co-main. And I would like to know if anyone in the chat has another fight that they're interested in. Someone is asking if Felipe is going to miss. He's probably not going to miss because he's a heavyweight. I actually don't know.
A lot of heavyweights just like to take their time because it's not like they have to cut weight. They can sleep in, they come down, they weigh in.
Well, it's not really sleeping in because it's like 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. there. But, yes. Maybe there wasn't enough room on the buses for all them all to get there at the same time. Jackson Bates asked, could the UFC even go back to Florida right now? They got lucky with the timing. Yeah, wow. Florida is having a tough time right now.
I think they kind of, everyone thought that was the safe haven after the UFC, and now all of a sudden, everything's hit the fan.
Yep, and now the bubble is in it. It's just surrounded by coronavirus.
The NBA bubble, for those that only watch MMA. The NBA is coming back in Orlando.
The NBA bubble. Which I actually wonder, so I guess in some ways, our Guilherme is in a bubble right now, correct? He's in the 9 square miles of Yas Island.
He is. The NBA bubble seems super fascinating in the fact that, have you heard any of these stories coming out of the quote-unquote bubble? There was a player who called like Uber Eats or Postmates or something, and he just walked across the street to pick it up. And technically, the other side of the street, he was on the perimeter. So the other side of the street was not the bubble. And now he has to quarantine for 2 weeks because he walked maybe 10 feet to pick up food. So they're taking it seriously down there in Orlando.
Well, good. They should take it seriously. It is all over Orlando. Yeah, I know. I tried to send Guilherme a package, and it's just nope. They were very serious. Nothing gets in. Nothing. Ooh, it's promising. Here, Anna, telling me to stand by.
Our next fighter to the scale in the lightweight division, Dhabi Ramos.
All right, Dhabi Ramos.
$156 for Dhabi Ramos.
All right, cool. We got 156. So now we just have one fighter left. Carlos Felipe, where are you?
I would like to add, where did it go? Our own Guilherme, who's on the scene, says, I am in a bubble. I feel super safe here, actually. Going to be weird going back to the real world in that sense.
Oh, yeah.
I can't lie, when I was in Jacksonville and then came back to Arizona, it felt very bizarre seeing, like, being able to, not that I would, but like I had the ability to walk anywhere and not kind of get told not to go certain places.
Also, Guilherme would be going back to Brazil, so
Sure.
not also having a hard time. Brazil and the U.S. not doing great. North Ender and lots of other people on this chat would like to know how Figueiredo looked on the scale. What do you think?
I think he looks fine. I look like he had no problems whatsoever.
Yeah. So he was right. Yeah. When he got off the plane and arrived in Abu Dhabi, our own Guilherme Cruz got him on tape saying that he was 130 pounds. So he was only 5 pounds away, which is very good, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very short cut there. And a lot of people might have, maybe fans or whatever had forgiven him for missing weight last time. But I remember talking to, when we spoke to Joe Benavidez at that coffee talk after, it's like, look, if somebody misses weight, all this stuff is planned, right? So in terms of making sure you hit a certain mark at a certain time, if they miss weight by that much, that means that they were not planning on making weight.
Right.
Or something went wrong earlier. But it's hard to really put it on the last day or the last cut, because maybe you weren't going to be able to make it.
He seems to be taken seriously this time. Hopefully.
Yes. Yeah, and we had a little bit of a scare last week when he
Oh my God.
and he came back with a positive COVID test, but it turns out it was because he was positive for antibodies, because he had it 2 months ago. And I'm just gonna refresh here. We've got some questions in the chat. Milmer Carlson, nope, nobody missed weight. Everybody made weight today. And everyone actually looked pretty good. Nobody looked like they were weak or, passing out or anything like that. Everyone looked pretty healthy. So I'm looking forward to this. It is, just for perspective here, it is 5:30 p.m. in Abu Dhabi. So that's it's 6:30 a.m. here in Inglewood, California, where I am.
Same as the beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. which is being destroyed by coronavirus right now.
So I am not a scientist, but Jackson Base would like to know if you can get COVID-19 a second time because it seems to change every time I Google it. And yeah, actually, one of the studies that came out of Spain was that people who had gotten it months ago, their antibodies went away.
Right.
So yeah, no, that is unfortunate. You can actually get it more than once. So. Sorry, Jose. I'm really sorry about Arizona.
Me too.
But you can't even move anywhere. Where are you going to go?
Yeah, right. Our governor just gonna act like nothing's going on and go to barbecues with no mask and go out past curfew and all this stuff. And that's a conversation that no one cares about.
I like, well, we've got someone in the comments asking if we are hiring, and I'm sorry, Jared Parker, we are not hiring. Nobody is hiring at this moment. You know, it's rough. Actually, yesterday, Vox had another round of layoffs. Everyone MMA fighting was spared, but yeah, it's not great. This is not a good time.
All right, everybody, less than 1 minute. Stand by.
Oh, wow. What was the fastest weigh-in? I know we talk about this every time, and I always
It was
forget.
like 25 minutes. It was definitely faster than this. Okay, we've got our official there to all right, just kidding. Nope.
Seriously.
You lied. You said it was a minute, John Anik. You said.
Apparently, we're gonna get a Figueiredo scrum, possibly.
Oh, all right. And the face-offs are going to be after this.
And the
Like usually it's at the top of the hour after the weigh-ins, but depending on if everyone's there, they might just basically the
Our last
face-off
fighter to
wait
the scale
begin
in
until
the
11.
heavyweight division, Carlos Figueiredo. $261 for Carlos Figueiredo.
5 seconds. 5, 4, 5. Thank you.
All right, 261. That is the last fighter to weigh in. Carlos Felipe. Everybody made weight. Carlos Felipe with 5 pounds to spare there.
The stare downs will begin at 7 o'clock.
All right, so we've got
18 minutes, allegedly.
wait, no, 7 o'clock.
Oh, 7?
And I'm being told that that's not John Anik, so. Oops, I'm sorry. So. I bet you at some point I'm gonna be. Okay, so this looks good. We're probably gonna have to sign off because 7 is not very close to now. So we'll be back for the stare down since they will be in an hour and 15 minutes. So come back in an hour and 15 minutes. And we'll have the face-offs for you and possibly some scrums.
Fun times.
This has been Esther Lynn with Jose Youngs and Guilherme Cruz over there in Abu Dhabi. So we'll see you back here.